Welcome everybody to another edition of MLW 2006 here in TEW 2020 as it's time for another edition of MLW Fusion as we're continuing the road onto MLW Reloaded, our first big super, basically primetime event. That won't be really on primetime, but we'll just pretend that's not true. That'll be on live on Univision, so basically we're just moving our quote-unquote super shows that were shown on various networks before all to the Univision and pushing them that way. Regardless, for the actual Fusion, we start out with our Fusion opening with Low-Ki as the sort of focus, as this gets a 61. Then we open up with Kevin Kelly, Steve Carino, and MLW President Court Bauer all in the ring. As basically, Kevin Kelly puts over, first he announces what I just went over, which is the big first super event here on Univision will be MLW Reloaded, and along with, as stated last week, Takeshi Morishima defending his MLW World Heavyweight Championship against Low-Ki. We can also announce first that Nigel McGuinness will take on Matt Sydal one more time for the number one contendership. And finally, there will be one more match. It'll be a new match of its kind here in Major League Wrestling, and it's going to be the Battle Riot match. 20 competitors coming out once every minute. But no, it's not going to be like anything royal you've seen before, because in a Battle Riot, anything is legal. Chairs, tables, whatever. But still, no outside interference, and you must either eliminate your opponent by eliminating everybody else in that ring by throwing them over the top rope, making them submit, or pinning them 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. 20 men, and the winner will win a guaranteed world title shot at another big super event. So this gets a 61, and yeah, I can officially announce before Reloaded. So we got first Yuma versus Low-Ki for the World Championship. And also, I'm going to announce Nigel McGuinness versus Matt Sydal. Yes, I know they have poor chemistry, but they're really over, so I don't care. So there we go. So that's good 61, solid considering it's Kelly and Carino, and yeah, alright. Kelly gimmick stale, which we'll take care of at a later point. We have our opening match, which is a Miyu Kushida here on basically Major League Wrestling. Now it's supposed to put him over as a young Japanese star who's obsessed with the 80s American culture, which is why you see him dressing like Marty McFly at the moment as he comes down to the ring. And he's lost in the 80s gimmick, gets a initial ring of great, gives a large boost of charisma, large boost of star quality, losses damage, popularity more than usual, which, yeah, not the end of the world. As in a decent match, Tozawa defeats him in 10:06 by pinfall. This gets a 50. Kushida gets a 52. Tozawa gets a 44. I'll have to double check to see if he's actually had other matches in the US so far. I don't think he has. This is just a case of New Japan having TV in this save. But anyway, we move on. Tozawa celebrating afterwards, making belt motions as that gets a 48. As announcers, put over that Tozawa interrupted the aftermath of the Dragon Kid title match against Delirious last week. So it looks like he's still having, hell bent on getting another junior heavyweight title match. Then we move forward. We go backstage where Terrell Clark and Michael Shane, featured attraction, our current global tag team champions, introduced their little Miss Thing, Tally Madison, who says she's with them to basically back them up and make sure, nobody else gets involved in feature attraction business that shouldn't, including little bimbos like Nattie Neidhart. And make sure he remembers, he's a nephew of Shawn Michaels, so why shouldn't he have the much hotter chick than a Hart family member? Come on now. And that they're still the greatest tag team in the business today. They've been NWA World Tag Team Champions, and now they're Global Crown Tag Team Champions, and there's going to be nobody that's going to stop them. This gets a 46, decent promo, and yeah, intros Talia, and yeah, we're getting more women in the promotion. It's almost like I'm setting up a women's division or something. Nah, who would do that? Then we have a quick backstage segment where Verno clears himself for the Battle Riot, and as somebody noticed on the last show, yes, in reality, what would actually happen is all these English promos, they would be subtitled because we're on a Spanish station, but also Averno's would be subtitled in English while he speaks Spanish. But he declares himself to the Battle Riot and said after he wins, he'll rise to the top of Major League Wrestling where he belongs. And this gets a 63, solid promo. And then we have a little segment as we get some random people, random Samoans hopefully, or at least Pacific Islanders, in some paint and all dressed up and like doing the little hawk, not hawk, I think that's specifically amazing, but whatever they do to bring out as ECMO Samu Man come out, and ECMO says he's been wrecking fools all over the world to be in Major League Wrestling since Fusion debuted, but now he's here, so bring out the first victim here on national TV. As this gets a 69, and for the actual match in a 62, which is unfortunate because they didn't click, ECMO defeats Sonjay Dutt in 8:28 by pinfall with the Samoan drop. This gets a 62. So back and forth match. Sonjay Dutt does his best. Again, ECMO is just, he's a bulldozer as he just wrecks Dutt and eventually gets him up. Big old Samoan drop. 1, 2, 3. Nowhere for Dutt to go as ECMO gets a pinfall victory. This ECMO gets a 60. Dutt gets a 55, mostly because they didn't click. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but still a solid match because they're both over enough that even a didn't click thing is still going to do them well. And post-match, because he's ECMO, he sends that through a table, as that gets a 66. And yeah, this is sort of the problem with ECMO, like, because when he's around, I like to book him strong, but, like, he's not around that often, but he's so, like, there's only so much of a storyline I can do with him. But hopefully, like, I can time things better with the TV that he's actually going to be around a little more. But anyway, this goes forward, as this gets a 66. Then we go backstage, where Diamond Incredible are backstage hanging out with JJ Dillon, and then Melina Perez walks up to him and says that, she realizes, you guys are both talented wrestlers, but she's trying to prove to the Maximals that she deserves to be manager. So, they're from World Tag Team Champions. Diamond, you were tag champion before. Why don't you face them on? And so the Maximals can prove they deserve to be at the top of the tag division. Diamond and Incredible laugh and say, look, we don't do our business, our man JJ does. And JJ says, I'm happy to make a match with them for you next week. So, it's set up. She's made a match for the Maximos versus Diamond Incredible next week. So moving on up from, was it last week? I forget. Yeah, so again, she's trying to become the Maximos manager, so it's a string. Now she's going after the Extreme Horseman, as this gets a 42 because of ultimately Perez, and she's not over yet. Then we have Strong and Side Out backstage, going over the fact they have a big tag team main event tonight, teaming up with each other to take on Nigel McGuinness and Chris Hero. Strong Side Up, whatever, they're the next step in the evolution of professional wrestling. Seidel is going to be the number one contender and then World Heavyweight Champion soon enough. Whether he has to face Low-Ki or Morishima, he doesn't care. That gets a little, wait, Carino. Comment from Carino. And Strong says, tonight's going to be just a preview of why our team broke up Hero. It's nothing personal, it's just business because I need to get up to the top where I belong. 47, not the best, not the worst. Could be, like, Strong's not the best promo guy, and Saito rolled bad, so what can you do? Then we have an interesting match. As in a decent match, Vedder and Ray Gordy defeated Volador Jr. and Astro Boy 2 in 9:23 when Vedder pinned Astro Boy 2 with a whip flash, which I'll probably have to rename at some point. As this gets a 47, Ray Gordy gets a 52, Vedder gets a 38, Astro Boy 2 gets a 33, Volador Jr. gets a 39. Decent match back and forth, but in the end, the heels get the win. Not even obviously they cheat and do heel stuff during the match, but in the end, Vedder just a little bit better and gets the pinfall victory. Okay, nothing too bad. And then post-match, you have another promo as the Diamond Daisies, put themselves over. Ray Gordy puts in, whether it's gold records or gold title belts, we're going to be holding all the gold we want here in either business of professional wrestling or the music business. Whether you idiot fans like it or not, cue the boos. And Nikki Rock says again, she's seen lots of women coming in at Major League Wrestling, but she's still the alpha female of the women here in Major League Wrestling, and she deserves some actual in-ring time. And Vedder puts in and says, we'll be in the Battle Riot one way or the other, and we'll rise up, and one of us will be the next MLW World Heavyweight Champion. 49, again, decent promo, not the best, could be a lot worse. Then, in an interesting match, which unfortunately does a little bit lower than I thought, in a decent match, Ezekiel defeats Iceberg in 42 by pinfall with the ball and elbow, which, again, I should probably rename it. What can you do? This gets a 44, Ezekiel gets a 39, Iceberg gets a 43. I didn't know we're in Philadelphia, so everybody's going to be a little less over in some cases, like people like Ezekiel. But, back and forth, just a complete fight. Like, Ezekiel does his strikes and elbows, Iceberg throws him around, but eventually Ezekiel fights back, gets the advantage, and drops him with the elbow, and gets the 1, 2, 3 for the victory. And then, he takes the mic and says, Homicide, I know you're back there. If you're a man, if you got any balls at all, if you actually want to fight me, come face me in this ring next week on Fusion, and I'll show you who's a real badass bleepy bleep bleep in Major League Wrestling right here in this ring or all over Philadelphia. Pop for the Philadelphia reference, and there you go, 49. Decent promo, not the best, not the worst either. And then we have a quick Amazing Red promo, which gets a 53, that basically puts over, he declares himself that he's going to be in the Battle Riot and says, yes, people won't give him much chance because he's smaller, but he's beat the odds before, and he'll be happy to either take on his friend Low-Ki in a great match or get another shot at Morishima. So this gets a 53. And finally, in our main event, which gets a 70, good stuff, which might actually save the show's rating, honestly. And about that superb wrestling and great heat, Roderick Strong and Matt Sydal defeats Chris Hero and Nigel Bianis in 15-14 when Roderick Strong pinned Chris Hero. So this gets a 70, like I said, so back and forth, really solid, just two teams, beating the crap out of each other. Strong hits his backbreakers, Sydal does his cheating along with his high-flying stuff, and Nigel hits some lariats and some headbutts that'll look cringy in about 10 years when we know why headbutts are probably bad. Hero does his, some interesting in-ring work. But in the end, it falls apart into a four-way. Sydal has a big dive on McGinnis on the outside. They continue to fight, and that distracts Hero just long enough for Strong to pick him from behind. A big quasi suplex into a huge backbreaker. Gets the pin, 1, 2, 3, out of nowhere. Big pin, and then afterwards, the heel celebrate to a 49. And I forgot to check everybody's ratings, but I'll take care of that in a second. So show itself gets a 61, which is good. It's increased our popularity, mainly because of the main event, and a good solid show to build things up as we move forward towards Battle Riot. So I'll be back in just a second with the second show of the taping. Alright, it's now time for the second show of the taping and time for another edition of MLW Fusion. As we did sell up the Philadelphia Armory, which I think is the ECW arena. It says it at 50% important, so that's what I'm assuming it was the ECW arena, but otherwise it's it's still 1,000 people in Philadelphia as we have our Fusion opening, this time focusing on Morishima Wrecking Fools, which gets a 59. And then we put over tonight, it's a big, which I forgot to put Amazing Red off screen, so it gets a 59 regardless, as you have a big 6-man Battle Riot preview of 6 people who will all be a part of the Battle Riot. And this gets a 59. And we move forward to our opening match, which is Kushida making his second match in Fusion, back-to-back, as he defeats M-Dog 20 and 507 by submission. This gets a 35, mostly because it's just a 5-minute squash. M-Dog 20 gets a spot or two in, but in the end of the day, it's Kushida locking him in probably the hoverboard submission, which is just a modified surfboard, if I remember right, to get the tap out, as Kushida gets a 51, M-Dog 20 gets a 36, solid stuff. And Kushida celebrates afterwards to a 45. So again, solid stuff. Then we have basically a Low-Ki training video where, puts over, he's a warrior. Morishima is, lined up with a bunch of snakes in the grass now, but he knows he is still a battle-hardened warrior who will take the fight to him, so he will have to take the fight back to Morishima, but he will win back his MLW World Heavyweight Championship at Reloaded. This gets a 63, as it also includes video of Low-Ki doing his Muay Thai training stuff, battling people in the ring, so on and so forth, and yeah, there we go. And then, in our good match, which gets a 56, the SAT of Jose and Joel Maximo defeat Just Incredible and Simon Diamond in 10:06 when Joel Maximo actually gets a pin on Just Incredible. It says it's Maximo Impact, but it's some sort of Spanish Fly type move. So again, back and forth match, Simon Diamond, basically looks impressive anytime he's in the ring, basically throwing around Joel and Jose, but Joel and Jose get their double teams back to get the attack on Incredible and Diamond, and the end, Diamond puts the outside, and the SAT are able to hit a huge double team on him to get the 1, 2, 3 right in the middle of the ring. Another big win for the Maximos. As like I said, they get a 56. Simon Diamond gets a 55. Justin Incredible gets a 48. Joel gets a 50. And Jose gets a 55. And then post-match, Maximo celebrate, and Melina enters the ring and celebrates with them. And the announcers put over the fact that it seemingly is that Melina is now officially their manager and is leading the Maximos on to greatness in the tag team division. As this little post-match celebration gets a 37. Then after that, we have a, this gets a 63, as basically it's a Morishima training package along with Steve Corino, as Corino is basically more, directly Morishima, beating up, random, Steve Corino trainees in the ring, as we get, promos of Morishima in Japanese with Kurino translating, saying, he's a Japanese bulldog. Bulldozer, not bulldog. He's the most dominant force in professional wrestling today, whether it's in Japan or America or all over the world. Wherever he goes, he wrecks fools and leaves. And it's just to be another day at the office for Morishima at Reloaded as he keeps his World Heavyweight Championship. This gets a 63, solid stuff. And then Ezekiel calls out Homicide again. This time Homicide comes out and the fight is on. As this gets a 49, again, fairly straightforward, as just, Ezekiel says, come on, Homicide, are you really a bitch? Come on. If you want to fight, come fight, and face me in this ring right the hell now. Homicide comes out, and the brawl is on. As this gets a 49. And then we have, in a decent match, Homicide defeating Ezekiel in a street fight match in 9:45 by pinfall with the cop killer falling, wait for it, interference from Rocky Romero. So yeah, it's a back and forth, just brawl, these two guys just beating the crap out of each other, Homicide with some suplexes and kicks and going for the cop killer, but Ezekiel getting out, hitting his own Izuka kicks and striking elbows, and chair gets involved, Singapore Kane probably gets involved, some other random bit of violence happens, but in the end, it looks like Ezekiel is actually going to get the big win from out of nowhere. The Vanna Bulldogs show up, hit Ezekiel with a big double team move, which allows him to be laid out for Homicide to get the cop killer, and 1, 2, 3. Now it's just put in effect that, of course, Homicide and the Vanna Pitbulls came up together in professional wrestling on the independent circuit, and now it looks like they're aligned once again, as this gets a 54, Homicide gets a 56, Ezekiel gets a 39, and post-match, we get a 3-on-1 battle, as it's a 3-on-1 beatdown on Ezekiel, which gets a 44, and yeah, just a complete beatdown, as Homicide said, this is what happens in the streets. You get your back up and you lay a beatdown on some beeps who try to take on their turf. And then Homicide walks away with the Pitbulls, holding his hands in victory. As I said, this gets a 44. Then we have Sabu, with a quick little video that ends with him pointing to the ceiling, which I guess is him entering himself into the Battle Riot. Okay. This gets a 48. Just a quick little 2-minute segment to add him to the Battle Riot. And then post-match, the next up we have in a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling. Featured Attraction defeated the Hart Foundation 2K3 of Jack Evans and Teddy Hart in 10:45, when Michael Shane pins Teddy Hart's with a picture-perfect elbow up following interference from Talia Madison. So Talia gets involved, basically hit knees Teddy in the balls, which allows Gerald Clark to hit some sort of wacky springboard DDT or bulldog. Shane goes up top, hits the picture-perfect elbow, and gets the 1, 2, 3 over the stablemates of the Hart Foundation. This gets a 59, Teddy Hart gets a 30, Jack Evans gets a 53, Gerald Clark gets a 55, and Michael Shane gets a 64. And a solidly good win for the featured attraction, as even though they cheat. And then post-match, we have something interesting, which gets a 40. Ouch. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. So what happens here is basically, the same people Bulldogs come out, featured attraction are why are you even out here? We're the global tag team champions. Shane points out, I beat you, Harry, a couple weeks ago, so why do you think you get a tag title shot? Sure, you won some matches, but you still haven't beat us at all. So you're not even on our level. And, TJ, Nattie actually said something, says, fires back, that may be true, that might not be true, but here's something I want to lay out as a challenge for you. Now, another match between one of my, between Harry and TJ versus one of you, not even a tag match to get your shot, what? But, there's been lots of women. We talked about how, there needs to be a women's division Major League Wrestling. So why don't we make that happen by actually making a women's match that means something? I'll fight you, Talia, in that ring next week live on Fusion. And if I win, my boys get a tag title shot. But if you win, we walk away. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. It looks like, Shane is going to say no to it, but Talia says, fine. I'll back up my boys and whoop your ass. And show you that the featured attraction, including myself, are true greatness here at Major League Wrestling. There's a standoff, but the match is made for next week. Talia Madison versus Nattie Neidhart in a match to determine whether the same people Bulldogs get a tag title match. As this gets a 40, because none of these guys are great promo people. Then we have a quick Sonjay Dutt promo backstage, which gets a 47, which basically Dutt, says, he's a little beaten and a little broken down, but he'll still enter the Battle Riot to earn a title shot. As this gets a 47. And then in our main event, which gets a 71, awesome, in a superb match, Averno, Ekmo, and Roderick Strong draw with the Amazing Red, Junior Fat 2, and Chris Hero in 1405 following a double countout. So, basically, everybody, we get, our showdowns between people you think it is. So, Verno, Amazing Red doing some high spots, Ekmo and Fat 2 getting a brawl, Hero and Strong, stiffing the shit out of each other. Then we also get some other stuff. We have Ekmo throwing around the Amazing Red, but Amazing Red actually hitting some sort of a head scissors takedown on Ekmo. We have Verno trying to fly on Fatu, but Fatu throwing him around. We have Strong trying his strike shit with Fatu, but Fatu fighting him back. Hero and Ekmo brawling. Hero and Verno having a quick little lucha segment. At the end, everything goes outside and everybody continues to fight. And, the ref calls for the bell after 10 seconds. As this gets a 71, Strong gets a 56, Ekmo gets a 60, Verno gets a 70, Chris Hero gets a 57, Junior Fat 2 gets a 52, Amazing gets a 67. Good stuff. And then post-match, of course, we get the brawling continues as the announcers put over the Battle Riot. But then Homicide comes out to make it a 4-on-3. But then, just so it shows off the air, Ezekiel comes out, is being beaten down and starts brawling with Homicide as the announcers, continue to put everything over. This gets a 57. And overall, we get a 60. So, two solid shows as we build up our, upcoming Reloaded and everything going on. I do like the little thing I came up to set up the women's match because, again, yeah, I'm trying to set up at least a small women's division, and that was the best way to actually figure it out. What did PWG? Let me check everything. PWG had Tatanka. Okay, this is not a PWG main event. Tatanka and Adam Pearce versus Mike Awesome and BJ James. CM Punk beating Super Dragon. Paulo Coelho is a little closer though. That is hilarious. Okay. Oh, and Homicide and Low-Ki are no longer friends. Everybody, be sad. Let's see here. Other things I wanted to show you guys before things are over. Nothing interesting with WWE. They're still doing their wacky stuff. So, storyline wise, we've got Ezekiel and Homicide at a 53. We've got the World Title feud at a 64. We've got, this. Actually, we should probably just end this because, there's nothing better for them to do. We've got Hero and Strong at a 67. We've got Delirious, Dragon Kid, Incognito, and Tozawa, the Junior Heavyweight title feud at a 46. We've got Seidel Nigel feud at a 68. And the tag title feud at a 49. We still, we still have some people who we need to push a little bit better. There's some people near the bottom who we can probably push. At the Reyes Romero thing is because I haven't had anything to do for him. So them being basically, Homicide's backup will be fun. The women's thing is, like I said, something I came up with as I was booking, a way to set up, the actual, because I need a way, to set up the tag title match. I mean, again, behind the booking door, y'all know what's coming there. But, figure out a decent way to set that up and then also jump to start the women's division. And plus, that being the match can also, upset Nikki Rock, who has been calling out about it, and maybe set something up with that. And also, Battle Riot, honestly, yeah, I'm stealing it from the real life Major League Wrestling, including the name, but, obviously, Court Bauer came from real life, so he could come up with it in real life as well. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. I wish I could show you guys more, but really, this has been a pretty straightforward video, nothing too exciting, nothing too over the top. So, CZW had their anniversary show. B-Boy defeated Nick Mondo, Ruckus and Jimmy Rave, okay. Becky Bayley's defeating Rick Feinberg, okay. Interesting. Z-Bar Nick Burke defeated the Public Enemy. Sure. Oh, wait, it's not even the real Public Enemy. Jimmy Jacobs and Joker stealing Valor as the Public Enemy. Lobo, Necro Butcher, and DJ Hyde defeating Dan Maff, and Nikki Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Okay, sure. That is a wacky-ass thing. Size-wise, yeah, we're still slowly growing. We still have quite a while to go before we hit medium popularity. Because, again, most likely it'll happen in the Mid-Atlantic. Well, I mean, this is probably an end-of-the-year goal for us hitting medium. I would think so. But yeah, I think that's about it, because I don't think anything else big happened. Let's see, TNA had their, no. Did we have, no, okay, I already showed you guys the Rumble. Anything else of interest? Looking at the other companies. AAA, nope. Conan joined AAA, which is interesting. All Japan, nope. New Japan, no. Okay. I still find their roster insane, like just for the time period, but that's about it. Ring of Honor is doing Ring of Honor things. They had their. Oh right, I already showed you guys this one. Did I? I think I did. Regardless, if I didn't, yes, that's Slim J defeating Nigel, Matt Striker, and Homicide in a 76. Just incredible. Defeating Christian Rivers in an 81. Hydra defeating Jack Evans, Angel Dust, and Doug Williams to retain the Pure title. This would not be a Pure style match. And Baines Red defeated Sonjay Dutt and Rorschach in a 70. Who the hell is Rorschach? Okay, Ram Shakar guy. Yeah, also, ROH getting 5,000 people in this time period. Not realistic, but what can you do? Um, yeah, I mean, that's about it. This won't be quite as long as a video as with other videos. Hopefully, people will still see it. You know, don't want to extend these videos to be too long just for the sake of having them too long. But anyways, that's about it. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like. Comment below on what you're enjoying and not enjoying. Again, I like all kinds of feedback. Even pointing silly stuff out, like, this is Univision, so of course this would be a Spanish station, so the English stuff would be translated, which I just totally blanked on. But yeah, and also, I have plenty of other TEW 2020 content, including this series, my WCW 2004 series, now heading towards Sacrifice, main evented by Booker, taking on Eddie Guerrero for the WCW World Title. My WCW 1994 series, now heading towards Slamboree, main evented by Rick Rude versus Sting for the Unified World Championship. And of course, my WWE 2013 series, where the random number generator has given me goals like not giving Triple H the world title for at least 2 WrestleManias, and not pushing AJ Lee. That's it for now. So talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.